Um, Talking to a number of people recently, because of the COVID pandemic, people have been very anxious, very worried, very concerned. And when we've tried to boil down what it is they're fearful of, it's how they would describe an irrational fear of death. I'm not sure that it's irrational, but I thought, because so many people have mentioned it to me, we perhaps should think a little bit about death and what it means and what it is. I'm not talking about grief, and I know many people have lost someone they love and are in the midst of grief. And at some point, we should think about grieving process. We, of course, our hearts go out to all those who've lost somebody, and they have our love and our prayers. But I want to think about why we fear death, what it is about death that makes us so fearful. Many of the people who've spoken to me have actually been Christians, who have said they believe for a long time, and yet fear death at this time. Largely, I think, because it's come into focus. It's come right into their mind's eye. As we see the numbers going up on the news, we're very aware of death being all around us. But Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I would have told you." What Jesus is saying is, he's saying, look, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you that death is not the end, that there is more to come. In John chapter 12, Jesus also talks about death. And he says, unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it can't bear fruit. And he says that if we try to save our life, we'll lose it. But if we lose our life, we'll save it. The thing with the seed is that in itself, it can only produce, it can only become, well, in this case, it's radish. This seed can only become the radish it's intended to be by going into the soil and dying and becoming the plant it's supposed to be. And Jesus says that's how we need to live our life. We have to live our life giving up for other people. We have to sacrifice our life for the sake of the kingdom, for his sake, in order to gain life. But I think he also means that as we die, and this body, like this seed, will rot away, only then can new life come. Only then can we have the life that God promises. And the Bible picks that up again in 1 Corinthians 15. So it will be with the resurrection of the dead. The body that is sown is perishable. But the body that is raised is imperishable. So that the very process of dying is what brings us life. We can only have immortality when we go through that process. That doesn't mean that we're reckless, or that I have a death wish, that I want to rush forward to death. I hope all of us have something positive to live for in this life. But what it means is that when that time comes, whether that's soon or a long way away, that we don't fear. We see it as the gateway to all that God has promised. He who has begun this good work in you will bring it to completion. So my prayer today is that you might know the power of Jesus' resurrection in your life today, that will banish any fear you have of death, so that when that time comes, you can be confident that Jesus has you in his love and his hands.